13 years? Yeah. Yeah, you just have to look at the numbers, right? So, yes, sir.
What happens if someone passes, let's say the employee passes away before they retire?
Okay. It's a good question. The question is, what happens if the employee passes away before they retire? If a member, it's one of the milestones that I talk about in the workshops, but if a member has more than 15 years of service in and they pass away, killed on or off the job, there's automatically a survivor benefit available to a spouse and or dependent children as long as you've been married up to 2 years. And it's equal under the on the TERF side to B1, the 100% survivorship benefit. On the PERF side, if you've got an estimate, it's equal to option 30. Automatically get that benefit. Now, if you pass away before the 15th year, then essentially the only benefit available to that named beneficiary is the balance available in the annuity savings account. And one of the things that I always bring up in the workshops, does everybody know who your beneficiary is on the annuity savings account? Good, good. I always worry about the folks that go through divorces, because essentially if you go through a divorce and don't change your beneficiary on your annuity savings account, you get remarried, you get hit by the bus, that money's going to go to the first wife or first husband, and trust me, folks, the second wife, second husband are not happy at that point. So it's pretty important, right, to make sure you know who your beneficiary is. Also, for general information here, 87% of the people I meet that are in PERF and TERF are in the guaranteed fund. How many people are in here in the guaranteed fund? About 87% of the people. Do you know what the rate is? 0.026. Folks, that's not 2.6%. That's 1 basis points over a quarter. So that means if you've got $100,000 in there, you're only earning $250 a year in income. It might behoove you to take a look how you've got your money allocated, because it's not growing very fast, right? We don't give investment advice, but I usually tell folks, keeping track of how you've got that money invested. The guaranteed fund historically was a great place to be, but maybe now it's not as good based on the rate. Yes, sir.
Back to my earlier question, which is what happens to the pension if the worker dies before retiring. Then if you're a TERF member, it goes to 100% survivorship.
That's correct.
My next question is, what if the survivor is not 59 and a half?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, if you're married,
you got 15 years in,
you've been married 2 years, and essentially that surviving spouse gets that 100% benefit for the rest of her life.
right then they start getting the pension.
That's correct. Yep. Yep. Overall, folks, these plans are very, very good. I've been in this business for over 30 years now, and when I first came in here 6 years ago and saw these benefit plans, both on the pension as well as the annuity for the PERF and TERF side, I thought, wow, just amazing the contribution amounts that are going in on your behalf. Historically, most employers has contributed about 8.5% of your salary into the pension. Next year, that number is going to jump to 11%. A lot of employers is paying the 3% on the annuity savings account. Do you folks pay the 3%, or does the school pay it here?
Not anymore.
Okay, it's changed. Yeah, some do, some don't. But let's just say that even on the pension, if they're paying in 8%, I mean, if you're making $30,000 a year, that's $2,400 a year going into your pension. If you're making $60,000, I mean, that's $4,800. All in all, the good benefits when it comes down to it. And the school didn't tell me to say that, and PERF hasn't. Just what I see out there in regards to these benefits. Question? Ma'am?
Last time I was here and the date was July 1st, you said that we had until the end of February to turn in our paperwork.
They asked if you're planning on retiring that you provide the paperwork 90 days ahead of time, right? Doesn't mean you have to, folks. If you want your first check the month after you leave service, you give them 90 days. If it doesn't matter to you, you wake up tomorrow, you leave service, you have to realize it's going to take 90 days to process the paperwork. Right now, they'll go retroactive back to an effective December 1 date. So you'll get 2 or 3 months worth of benefits in your first payment and then get your normal monthly benefit after that. But most people submit them 90 days ahead of time, so they get their last payment from their employer. Next month, on around the 15th, they get their first payment from PERF. Yep, good question. Questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, the obvious thing, but I'm going to ask the obvious anyway. If you take your annuity when you retire, you decide to take your annuity and put it into the pensions,
Mm-hmm.
to like it to serve as part of the pension.
Mm-hmm.
Then basically you run whichever category that you pick. I realize there are categories of survivorship and non-survivorship and so on and so forth. And then if you pass away, whatever date you do pass away after that, maybe let's say it's 7 years later,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
It just basically ends, and any annuity that was put into that pension is basically gone. It's been absorbed by the pension.
Depends on what option you pick. So on the teacher's side, the question is essentially, if I pick an option and I pass away, is there anything left for a beneficiary on that annuity piece? Well, on the teacher's side, under option B1, B2, and B3, the 100% survivorship, if you pass away as a member, that survivor is going to get a payment for the rest of their life based upon your payments. Okay? If you take A2, which is the straight life that provides no survivor benefit, the pension ends, but there might be something left in that annuity depending on when you get hit by the bus. And then A1 and A3, which is the 5-year guarantees, essentially it guarantees the payments on the pension on A1, A3, it's the pension and the annuity for 5 years. So to see what the earnout is on what might be available for beneficiaries if something happens to you, again, it's best to come to a workshop because I spend more time in regards to detailing those pieces. But it works the same way on the PERF side. They just change the names in regards to the options. I mean, option 20 on the PERF side is a straight life. You get the highest amount, but if you get hit by the bus, there's nothing left for anybody. Option 10 and option 71 are the 5-year guarantees. So essentially, you're going to get the payment for the rest of your life. It's slightly less than option 20, but if you pass away within 5 years, they're going to guarantee the pension under option 10, the pension and the annuity under option 71, and then option 30, 40, or 50 are the lifetime survivor benefits that, again, if you pass away, that named beneficiary or survivor gets the benefit. Yes, sir.
If you're under the age 60, and you mentioned earlier about the penalization of 11%,
Mm-hmm.
if you was to retire under the age of 60,
Mm-hmm.
would that 11%, does that stay with that for your whole pension period?
Essentially, you've locked in that pension payment for the rest of your life.
So 11%
Correct.
that goes.
Correct. But keep in mind, some people get confused about that whole issue of the reduced benefit. If you're 100% eligible to draw your benefit, it doesn't matter. So if you meet age 65 and 10 or 60 and 15 or the rule of 85, doesn't matter. That doesn't come into play. That's only for individuals that have more than 15 years of service, are between 50 and 60, and are going out early because maybe a spouse is getting transferred or, maybe they're changing a vocation or whatever. So, good question. Questions? That's why I'm here, folks. Young ladies mentioned earlier, is it clear as mud? Yeah. Hopefully I've answered your questions. I'm around here. I would recommend coming to a workshop. I know this one this afternoon on the PERF side and TERF side are filled up. But I can tell you in the first quarter, I'm probably back here at least twice, I would think. So if you can't make one here, I'm in Jasper. I go to Washington from time to time. I'm down in Evansville once a month at Central Library. So we're around in regards to assisting, in regards to answering your questions, both on the pension as well as the annuity. Question? There's 2 workshops. There's one at 1 o'clock on the PERF side, and there's one at 5 o'clock on the TERF side. I mean, you can come. You won't have an estimate available to you, but you can follow along with me in regards to more detail in regards to these changes and the like, and the different options available to you under the benefits. Questions? Okay, thanks a lot, folks. Have a great day, okay?